Greetings. Today we are going to talk about language. So with my words, I create conflict language and architect language. And this is all based on the work of Mark England. And he is the founder of Vocabulary. He's also a contributor to Enlifted program for coaches. And he has a TED Talk. He's just a phenomenal guy. And he is very into language. So, core concepts. Today we are going to be introduced to conflict language and architect language. What are they? What do they sound like? So you can be introduced to them, and then you can kind of feel what they sound like. And we're going to look at replacing conflict language with architect language and why that's important. So first thing we're going to do is talk about definitions. Conflict language is focused on blame and story, and I'm going to give you 3 examples of what conflict language is. Architect language is focused on accuracy, so facts, cause and effect, and then input and output. This is what it looks like. Conflict language are negations, projections, and soft talk. So a negation is I don't. I don't want to get burgers tonight. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to feel like this anymore. It's things that you don't want. Projections, he, she, they made me do this. My wife didn't set my alarm clock, and now I woke up late. Those are projections. Someone else's action resulted in a result for you. And then soft talk. Think, like, almost like, possibly, someday, hope, try. These are words that really bring about an indecisiveness in the sentences that you're using them in. So let's talk about architect language. This is affirmations, reflections, and solid talk. And as you can see, they're kind of one for one with conflict language and architect language. So affirmations are what you want. I want Italian tonight. I want to grill tonight. I want to go for a walk around the block. Reflections are I made me do this. It's taking ownership of the circumstances that you find yourself in more than anything. Solid talk is I will, this is, it's like standing on a solid foundation. So instead of standing on sand, you're actually standing on bedrock or concrete, right? Now let's talk about how they look. So negation versus affirmations. Negation, I don't want to work out. How many times have you thought to yourself what you don't want? I don't want to work out. Honestly, that's fine. That's fine to not want to work out. But what do you want to do instead? An affirmation would say, I do want to go for a walk around the block. See how that subtle difference just gives you options of what you do want to do. So let's say you don't want to go to the gym. It's fine. You don't no one has to go to the gym, right? But if you say to yourself, I don't want to go to the gym, but I do want to go for a walk outside with my dog. I want to go for a bike ride. I want to stretch. I want to do recovery activities. So I want to maybe get a massage or maybe take a nap. I do want to do those things. It really opens the full door to possibilities of what you are going to take action on, not just cut off the one thing that in your mind you don't want to do. So projections and reflections. A projection. They didn't tell me about the meeting, so I wasn't prepared. That is very common, especially it's very common and it's very unconscious. These are just patterns that we've learned throughout the years. Taking more of an ownership mindset to any circumstance you find yourself. So let's say you're still in that same position where there's a meeting and you're not prepared for it. I didn't follow up with so-and-so about a future meeting and I didn't prepare, right? That is true facts. And it also gives, like, it brings the ownership back to you so that in the future, if you don't want to feel like this, then you can make sure to, okay, the last time this happened, I didn't follow up, and then I found myself unprepared. This time, I'm going to follow up, and then I'm going to find myself prepared. You can see how those subtle differences, if you are just a victim of circumstance, then nothing you do can change where you are. Where if the same bad thing happened, and you find ownership in preventing it or mitigating in the future, that's pretty empowering. And I just said pretty empowering. So let's talk about soft talk and solid talk. So soft talk. I think I'd like to look into taking part in a 100-day challenge soon. Or solid talk. I am signing up for the 100-day challenge starting on June 1st, and I will set goals for the challenge by May 25th. If those were two different people, which one is actually going to follow through? Solid talk. It's very common to create a little bit of soft talk to give yourself wiggle room to not have to make a commitment. And like I said, with all of this, it's not good or bad. It's just what we learned. And if you can learn a more accurate, a more factual, fact-based, empowering way to talk, then maybe the future will change, right? Like that's the idea. So, soft talk versus solid talk. In a work setting, like working with others, solid talk can be a little brash. My recommendation, especially when we're first starting to learn about soft talk versus solid talk, is to err on the side of soft talk when you're engaging with other people, and really lock down solid talk when you are talking to yourself, when you're journaling. Err on the side of solid talk for yourself, and if there's ever a question, err on the side of soft talk with others. As you get better as they just feel more comfortable, there's not even like getting better or worse. As you just get more familiar and comfortable with soft talk and solid talk, you're going to have more of a point of reference on which is appropriate. So, why is this useful? Why is changing the way that you talk to yourself and you talk to others, why is that even useful? Goal setting, resolving conflict, establishing expectations, and providing feedback. I know you can't really see the providing feedback. I promise you that's where it is. These are very powerful ways to subtly change the conversation of all of those instances. And all of those instances, so goal setting, resolving conflict, and expectations and feedback, those are all kind of difficult conversations for some people. And using this kind of language and just becoming more familiar with it and testing it out and seeing the results from interacting with people using this kind of language, you are going to find it easier to actually get the results that you're looking for. So, realizing historically unattainable results, goal setting. So this is a bonus portion of the get to know conflict language versus architect language. So, historically unattainable results, realizing them, making them real. If there are things in your life that you have tried to do with setting goals that just have never stuck, this next slide may prove to be pretty valuable, right? May prove to be pretty valuable. It's going to be super valuable, right? You can already, after you've heard the conflict versus architect language, you can just hear it yourself. So we're going to blow this out of the water. Getting solid, awesome results. So, to realize historically unattainable results, write them down. I can't stress that enough. Just putting anything on paper makes it more real. It makes the goal more real. It makes the commitment more real. Not for anybody else, but for yourself. Check to make sure that you're using architect language. So make sure that your goal isn't stop drinking pop. That is a very valuable goal, but it's more accurate to say drink water and coffee and tea. Write down all the things you can drink instead of just saying don't drink pop. Because, right, you don't drink pop and then, well, what can I drink? I don't know, give yourself, drink more water, focus on actionable things that you can do. Personalize it. Instead of don't drink pop, I drink 64 ounces of water every day. Personalize it. Make it something that you can actually take action on, and you're going to do it. Write it in the first person. I am the kind of person that drinks 64 ounces of water in the morning. And I dove right into that fourth one. Add numbers. Make it something actionable. Make it something that you can, is this a yes or a no? Did I do it? Did I not do it? Right? Drink more water. What does that mean? You go from 10 to 12 ounces? Is that actually what you want to do? If that is, just write it down. There's no, this isn't good enough. It's pick a number, pick an action that you can actually look at yourself factually or objectively. And did I do it? Did I not do it? Not to judge yourself, but to give yourself credit when you do it. And then finally, because. Because is like a supercharged word. It makes goals so much more attainable. There's all kinds of studies on using the word because in a sociological setting. So there's a lot of studies on it. I can tell you that it works. We can get into details on why it works in the future, but because. So go from don't drink pop to drink 32 ounces of water with a splash of lime juice and a pinch of pink Himalayan sea salt before my first cup of coffee, because I want to make sure, because it's important for me to be hydrated. So we worked all that out. Write it down. I drink 32 ounces of water with a splash of lime and a pinch of salt in the morning before my first cup of coffee, because being hydrated is important to me. That's it. Done. All of a sudden, you become a routine water drinker. It's amazing. So that concludes the architect versus conflict language presentation. And it also does conclude the supercharge, actually, realizing historically unattainable results bonus part of the presentation. So we'll talk about questions. I'm super glad that you had time to take part in this, and I can't wait for you to put it to use. Thanks.